Alright everybody, welcome back to another video on how to use the lathe. So on the last video, we turned our part, okay, to the final diameter. We got a nice smooth surface finish. Our part is now faced. It is turned down to diameter, okay. Our next step, so we can cross operation 60 off of our list. We are now on to operation 70. We are going to cut the 1/16 by 45 degree chamfer on our part. We're using the offset compound rest, setting it to 45 degrees. Okay. All this other stuff, don't really pay attention to it. I'm just going to show you how to do it. Okay. So what you're going to need to do is look at your plans. This is what we were trying to create. Okay. Our part currently has a sharp corner on it. We want to bring that corner down and create what's called a chamfer. So from here to here should be 1/16 of an inch, and it's at a 45 degree angle. Okay, so that's what we want on our part. So first step, you're going to take some bluing, blue up your part, and lay out a line that is 1/16 or 0.062 inches from the end of your part. And you should already know how to do that, so I'm going to do that off camera. Alright, so we laid out our line. I used a dial caliper, added blue into my part. I laid out the line 1/16 or 0.062 inches from the end of my part. Okay. Next step that you're going to need to do is we need to set our compound rest to 45 degrees. So how you're going to do that, you have a hex key in the clear toolbox. Okay. There is 2 bolts on your compound rest. One is right here. Okay. You're going to need to loosen that bolt slightly. Okay, you are not removing the bolt. All you are doing is just loosening it until it feels loose to turn. Okay, so it's going to be tight. Just release the pressure on it, and so you maybe got to turn it a quarter of a turn. Okay, it should feel loose. There's one bolt, and then if you go to the other side of it, down here, okay, here's the other bolt. So you loosen those. Okay. They're both on the back side of the compound rest. Now this should rotate freely, okay? We would never want to do any machining when this is loose, but this is how we change the angles of it. So right here, it's going to be kind of hard to see. They made it almost microscopic. There is a 0 stamped into your compound rest, and then there is a line, okay? So you want to move this, and I'm going to show, to 45 degrees. Okay, so something like that. Okay, once you get to 45 degrees, notice on here there's a 0, and then if we go over here, it's kind of all messed up, but there's another 45 degrees over here. The one we want to choose is so the hand dial for our compound rest is away from us. Okay, we want this to be near the back of the lathe, away from us. Okay, we do not want it on the 45 degrees where it's like close to us, and you'll understand in a minute why. But we want this away from us. So once you get it to 45 degrees, tighten down these bolts, okay, and do not crank on them. Just get them snug. That's all you got to do. This one under here is going to be kind of tricky to get at. Whoops. All right, once again doing this one-handed. My apologies for the horrible camera work. Set your hex wrench aside. Now you set this up. You may have to adjust your tool. I already did mine off camera, but what you want to do is you adjust your tool so just the point of your tool is the only thing touching the corner of your part. Okay, so something like that, because technically speaking, we're working on the corner of our part. We're adding a chamfer. That's where we want the point of our tool touching. So adjust your tool if you need to. Make sure the height is still the correct height in the center line. You just got to pivot it side to side. And then remember, anytime you make an adjustment on your tool, make sure your chuck spins freely and it's not going to hit anything over here, okay, or your tool. So we're in the clear. Our tool's adjusted. Compound rest is adjusted. What we're going to do is we're going to start up our lathe, okay? And I am going to bring my carriage to the left just a little bit, okay? Try to get the corner of the part right at the tip of the tool, and then I'm gonna bring in my compound rest till it makes a metal shaving, okay? From here on out, I move my cross slide until it makes a metal shaving. From here on out, we are no longer moving our carriage, okay? Do not touch the carriage hand wheel from here on out. The only things we're gonna be working with is the cross slide and the compound rest dial, okay? So I'm going to loosen my adjusting screw on my cross slide, and I'm going to zero this out, okay? I am going to bring my cutting tool towards the right, okay? So I'm going to loosen this, lefty-loosey, and I'm going to exaggerate here just so it's really obvious. My cutting tool moved that way, okay? Technically to the right, but like at a diagonal, at a 45-degree angle. I am going to, so I'm not going to exaggerate as much, but have it beyond your part that way, okay? Now we're going to engage some depth of cut. I'm going to do like 20 thousandths, okay? And I'm going to crank this by hand. There's no way to power feed this, you just do it by hand. I'm going to crank it righty-tighty, and it's going to remove a bit of material, okay? Not really a noticeable amount. Once you remove that material, you're always going to travel your tool back to the right before you add more depth to cut. And now we're just simply working to the scribe line. So I'm going to do 40 thousandths now. Heck, I might even jump up. I'll go 60 thousandths because that didn't really do much. Okay. I'm going to go back over here, and I am going to crank this by hand. Okay, slowly. This one's probably going to be more noticeable. Okay. It has started to add a chamfer to my part. Okay. So that's what it should look like. Camera's having a hard time focusing. Alright. Now I bring my tool back to the right. Okay, I'm nearing my scribe line. Okay. I'm going to do another 20 thousandths step to cut. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to slow way down and just sneak up on my scribe line. Okay, so I'm cranking by hand slowly. Okay, I'm still a ways away from my scribe line. For some reason, some of it's rubbed off, the bluing, but I'm only about halfway done. I'm gonna go another 20 thousandths. Okay, I'm close, but I'm not quite. So we're gonna slowly do this by hand once again. Okay, probably do another 20 thousandths. Like I said, we're close, but we're not quite at the scribe line. So do this once more. Okay, I am almost at the scribe line. Okay, very close. I'm gonna do like 5 thousandths, and then I'm gonna call it a day. So you may not need to remove the same amount I needed to. It's kind of all dependent. In theory, you would think it would be the same, but it all depends on how your tool is shaped and everything like that. So this last one, I'm gonna travel really, really slow with my compound rest, hand crank, moving my tool really slow to get a nice smooth surface finish. Okay, once you're done, stop the lathe, and this is what your part should look like. Okay, it's got a nice 45-degree chamfer on it. Okay, nice and smooth, no burrs. Okay, that is how you add a chamfer to a part. Also, if you ever want to add a taper to a part or like an angle, okay, you do the same exact process. So that is how you chamfer a part. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you on the next one.